Today we're going to make magic spread. This is a recipe that I've written about on my website, wartimewisdom.com, and it's how to stretch the butter ration. So during World War II, fats were in high demand and they were hard to get, especially in Europe, but also in the United States and probably in Canada and Australia. And other countries that were part of the war but not actually on war grounds. But everyone was rationing fats because they were necessary. They contained glycerin, which was part of making bombs and munitions. So everyone was rationing, saving their grease and things like that to be turned in for making ammo for the war, for the military. So everyone needed to be careful about their fats. So this recipe for magic spread is supposed to magically spread or stretch 1 pound of butter to 2 pounds or more of butter. And I found this recipe, I've seen it in a few different World War II era cookbooks, but I found it originally on a newspaper clipping from the Portsmouth Herald. That was from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, United States, from August 1943. So this was a recipe that a woman in that area had sent in to help stretch the butter ration, and I'd like to show you how to make it. It's not hard at all. You do need to be a little bit specific about the order you do things, and I learned the hard way. So the only little trick to this recipe is when you're going to combine the first set of ingredients you use with the actual butter. The butter needs to be soft but not melted, and that was a bit confusing to me because to us in our modern day recipes, usually soft just means room temp. But this recipe was clear about putting the room temperature softened butter over the double boiler, the hot water, just for a minute or two to really soften it but not melt it. And that's how it combines with the other ingredients. So all in all, to make this recipe, and you can find it again on my website, wartimewisdom.com, but what you're going to need is a pound of butter at room temperature, cut into cubes, and you're going to need 1 envelope of gelatin. So that would typically be, I guess the most convenient would be Knox Gelatin. That's a famous brand, the main one I know of, depending on your country, just whatever you have for unflavored gelatin. The first time I made this, a couple of years ago, I used a non-pork. It was a kosher gelatin that didn't have pork, and it worked great. So today I'm going to be using this, which is like a bovine gelatin, and I'm going to see how this works. So in an envelope of gelatin, you would have about a tablespoon or 12 grams. So what I'm going to do is use a tablespoon of this gelatin, and this should have some good collagen and things. It's a good quality. So you could just choose whichever gelatin you want. And I'm also going to use a 1/4 cup of cold water, a teaspoon of salt, and about 14 and a half ounces of evaporated milk. So one of the things the little newspaper article said about this recipe was that it was even more nutritious than butter because you're going to get some vitamins and minerals from the milk, you're going to get protein from the gelatin, plus the fat, the healthy fat from the butter, hopefully the best quality butter you can use. So this is really tasty. It was said that it could be used on waffles, pancakes, lunchbox sandwiches, some desserts, on hot vegetables, on bread, just for toast, whatever. I tried it on a lot of those, and I can say it is really tasty. It's very good. So if you try it, I'd love to know what you think about it. And let's get started. I'll show you how to make it. Okay, so I hope you can see this okay. I'm using a little induction burner here so you can see what I'm doing. And I have a proper double boiler, but it has a copper bottom, which will not work on an induction cooktop like this. So I have my own little rigged up double boiler system here. So all you're gonna need is the base of a double boiler. And if you don't have a double boiler, you can always use like a stainless steel pot that fits inside of a saucepan or whatever you have that will give you a double layer like this. What you want is for the hot water to gently heat up whatever's in your top container so that you don't scorch anything. So that's a good kitchen item to have for puddings, custards, things like that too, but we're going to need it for this today. So first of all, we do not heat the water. We're going to put 1/4 cup of cold water. So this first part is cold. 1/4 cup cold water, and then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon or 12 grams of my gelatin powder. And if you use the regular ready boxed gelatin, it's just going to be 1 envelope of gelatin. So we're going to mix that together very slightly. Just it's called letting the gelatin bloom. Can you see how the gelatin is already thickening up in the water? So first we let it dissolve a little bit in the cold water. And now I'm going to turn on the heat and let the water in the base of this get hot. I want to get the gelatin warm and completely dissolved. I'm going to take it off the heat and add the evaporated milk to it. Okay, so now the gelatin is dissolved. So I'll turn the heat off. I'm going to take this off of the heat. Make sure you can still see it. Okay, and now I'm going to add in the evaporated milk and a teaspoon of salt. Okay, so now I have these things mixed, and now I'm going to take my pound of butter. I'm only going to turn this on for a minute or two, just to get the butter very soft but not melted. Okay, so I'm going to give this just a minute, and then I'll be right back and show you how I mix all this together. Okay, so now I have the butter very soft, and all we have to do is pour in this mixture that has the gelatin, the evaporated milk, and the salt. And then I'm going to try using a rotary whisk, or rotary beater. It's not really a whisk, just because this is something that would likely have been used in the 1940s, but it's possible that someone might have had an electric mixer, and you can certainly use an electric mixer. But the good thing about this is that it's at a low speed, which is what you want to keep things from splattering everywhere. That's the only little trick to this. It's very simple, very easy. You just don't want to mix it very fast so that it won't splatter. And if you use an electric mixer, just do it on low speed. I'll be right back as soon as I have it mixed together. So I used my rotary mixer to blend the gelatin mixture with the butter, and then I put it in this container and let it chill for a little while. So that's all you have to do. It's very easy. And here is the moment of truth. So I want to show you. It's really nicely chilled now, but it's still easier than just a hard block of butter, and it spreads a little bit easier than just plain butter would.